Have you ever picked up a book and felt like it was speaking to you directly? Like somehow it knew where you were in your life and offered you a perspective that you didn't even know that you needed? That is how I felt when I read Paul Selig's channeled books. And honestly, that's how all channeled texts have always felt for me. Like they speak to the part of you that already knows, like that part that has been just waiting to remember. But there was something different about those books, about Paul Selig's books. I love the material so much that I found myself re-listening to the audiobooks over and over. And then I ended up buying hard copies so I can make notes on the margins and highlight things. You know how that goes. So alongside of getting the knowledge, something unexpected began to happen. My life started shifting. I was being placed in the situations that showed me exactly what I needed to heal, and more importantly, what I was ready to see. So the same patterns that I've repeated for years suddenly illuminated with clarity. And little by little, I began to shift. And over time, I became a new, more healed person, new version of myself. And that is why I wanted to make these videos, because I want you to reach out for those books. If they helped me, changed my life, they can help you. Now, it is important to say that your life is always, always, always giving you everything that you need for your growth. The problem is that very often we just ignore it. We don't want to see it. So what the books do is they help you notice. They help you wake up. They offer tools, they offer wisdom and energetic support to transform your life fully. There are a few things that I want you to know about Paul and his books. So he is a contemporary author who has channeled 12 books to date, and he's still writing. The books are meant to be read in order because each one builds on the last. And all of the books are channeled, which means that Paul is not really writing him from his own mind. He goes into meditative, altered state and becomes a vessel for a higher intelligence to speak through him. In this case, it is a collective of non-physical beings known as Melchizedek, and they are here to help humanity. What is astonishing is what Paul channels is somehow ready to print. There's almost no editing, no revisions involved at all. And if there is anything, it's just a word or two, but that's it. I mean, tell me what human can write a book within 2 weeks. I certainly can't. So, what is so special about those books? They help you see what you struggle with and help you bring it into alignment. It's almost like they give you a new set of eyes. So when you look at the old patterns, when you look at the old self, even the self-talk, suddenly you see it completely differently. You see it clearly. And once you see it in this new way, you cannot unsee it. And that's how it starts, just one shift and then another and another. And before you know it, you're a completely different person. And it feels so good. Along the way in the process, you feel worthy. You feel love for yourself because you've been changing for yourself. And that brings you love. So how does the magic happen? Melchizedek works on 3 different levels. The first one is information, the knowledge. And the books bring you new information that challenges what you think you know. Not only that, they also give you assignments to help you with applying the knowledge. So you actually get to live it. The second way they work with you is energy. Even though you change, those books are about transformation. So when you change, you still carry an energetic imprint of the old patterns in your auric field. And that's why it's so easy sometimes to fall back to the old behaviors because they're still there. So Melchizedek comes on individual level to each reader and clears those patterns for them. And it's easier for them because they're not emotionally attached to any of the memories that are associated with those patterns. So they are neutral. So that's why the transformation is complete. It happens on 3 levels: mental, physical, and energetic. So there is no going back to the old self, it's gone. And the third level that they work on is vibration. The text itself carries a very high frequency. And they said that even if you read the text in a language that you don't understand, it will still lift you up energetically. It is because the text has very powerful vibration. So it's not just a book, it is literally an experience. And they give this amazing metaphor. Imagine that we give you a chapter that is called My Weekend in Alaska. And by reading it, you actually gain an understanding of everything that cold is. That is how it feels to read those books. But I want to give you one more example, something small, seemingly unimportant, but I think it perfectly captures this process that changes you. So one day I was doing my teenage son laundry. I usually don't do it. We are teaching him to do it himself. But once in a while, he would leave the clothes in the dryer, so I will fold it for him. So that's what I was doing that day. I was folding his clothes, and I pull out his sweatshirt covered in bleach stains. Of course, I just bought it. It was brand new, as you can imagine. So my first reaction, frustration. I was thinking, how many times do we need to tell him? As you can imagine, this wasn't the first time. Like, we already had a stack of ruined clothes. And it is because he has been learning how to clean his bathroom using bleach products, and he wasn't very careful. But now here we were again, another ruined sweatshirt. And then, out of nowhere, a new thought hit me. What are you really holding in your hands? And at that moment, I felt like I was giving a completely different perspective, like of an old self. Well, I'm like a grandmother, and I was in the end of my life, and I was looking back at that moment from the laundry room. And I look at this sweatshirt. Do you think I cared about those stupid stains? What I saw was months of progress of a boy who was learning how to clean his bathroom. If I could take all of his efforts, all of his mistakes and growth, and put it into something tangible, something I could touch, that sweatshirt would be it. So instead of anger, I felt gratitude. Gratitude for being able to witness his growth, for being his mom, for the silly, imperfect, fleeting things that one day I would long to relive. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to have a conversation with him about this, right? But this time it will come out of compassion, place of compassion instead of frustration. So his experience of learning is going to be positive, and I too can be proud of myself for handling it in this way that feels right. And that is exactly what the books do. They don't teach you how to change, they change how you see. And Melchizedek calls this shift Christ consciousness. Now, don't get thrown off by the name. It's not religious. They are using this phrase because in the Western culture, Jesus is really a figure that, we are all familiar with. But every culture has their own enlightened beings like Buddha, Krishna, Gandhi, just to name a few. And they all embody Christ consciousness. And Melchizedek says, listen, this state is really available to you, to each one of you. You can become Christ as well. And the biggest obstacle in achieving that is your conditioning. So that's what really they work throughout the books. They make you see how you were shaped from the moment that we are born. Just think about it. Our parents, our school, community, even the country, they all teach us how to see the world. They teach us what's right and wrong, what is possible, what is valuable. And most of the time, we are not even realizing it. And that's why those books are so powerful, because they peel off those layers of conditioning. They help you see who you were before the world told you who to be. When you rise your vibration, new opportunities show up in your life, new relationships, new jobs, experiences that finally match who you have become. So if you want to change your life, you don't need to push harder or chase something outside of you. You just need to shift the way you see. And if you're ready to do it, go grab a book of Paul Selig and let the life speak directly to the part of you that already knows.